Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Claro, me encuentro en este momento con la embajadora de Palestina en Chile, la señora Vera Banún, con quien conversaremos a raíz de esta escalada sin precedentes en el conflicto durante este fin de semana. How are you, Miss?
I'm fine, very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Let me ask you, what is your position as the Palestinian Authority after this unprecedented attack by Hamas against Israel?
You know, exactly as all we feel, whether we were in authority or whether we were civilians. War is war. Conflict is conflict. And what took place has ramifications on all. So for me, as a person, as an ambassador, as part of the authority, my position is very seriously directed to question why, in order to find a solution for this tragedy for all.
Do you think this attack in specific could lead to an approach, a better approximation between the leadership of the group Hamas and that of the Palestinian Authority?
Originally, we are one, despite the differences. Whether we were Palestinians in Gaza or Palestinians in the West Bank, refugee camps, in diaspora, in East Jerusalem, we all agree in one thing. We have one dream, that of self-determination, that of attaining our justice. As you know, as a nation, we've been trying our best, yearning to achieve and attain our human rights in independence, in justice. So despite the differences, this is internal, let it be, but we fully agree altogether that there is one goal, that of justice, determination, living our human entity and our human rights. So you don't need a position, whether with or against, as much as we are all with our right to live in peace.
Please tell us, let me ask you, what is the current situation right now in the West Bank?
You know, after the attack and the yesterday concurrent attack in Gaza, today the death toll in Gaza reached to 330, injuries 2,000, displaced people 20,000, 13 towers were totally demolished, 167 residence units were totally demolished, and 1,700 partially demolished. But the most important thing, that almost 2 hours ago, the Israeli cabinet has a decision and they officially announced the state of war on Gaza. So the situation is very dramatic. We are talking about civilians in Gaza that they have been under attack consecutively for many years, starting in 2008, 2009, 2014, 2018, 2020, 21, 22, and 23. In Gaza Strip, you have the largest blockade where people living in that small part on earth, highly condensed with 2 million citizens, hardly are capable to move, air, water, and land blocked. By the way, 70% of the people in Gaza are refugees from the 1948. They ran away, and today they live this tragedy, this violence, and this loss of any way of hope. And by the way, it is not only in Gaza. It is the same in the West Bank, but in different manners. Every district in the West Bank is closed. Bethlehem district is closed, Ramallah, Jenin, Nablus. And when I say closed, blocked from all borders with checkpoints, you cannot move, you cannot go out. And just imagine yourself not only occupied by an army, but also occupied by a system where technology works. Everything is closed. In the West Bank, we have 649 checkpoints. Imagine that you cannot move except with encountering these checkpoints. By itself, this is the situation in general. But if you ask me, what happens and what will take place, we're totally concerned. Exactly as Israel is concerned about its nation, cares for them, we do as well. A state of war means no borders. A state of war on Gaza means no borders. Many civilians are there, children, women, and hope the international community and including the Arab League with the MET that they can find and reach to a solution to cease that war.
Mm-hmm. And finally, well, Chile, you know, has the largest Palestinian colony outside the Middle East. Are there any reports of Chilean or relatives of Chileans affected by this escalation in Palestine?
No, actually. No one was affected. And as you know, in Chile we have the largest diaspora community outside Jordan and Palestine. In Palestine we are 6 million, and outside we are 6 million as well. And by the way, more than 80% of our Chilean community lost the right to be in Palestine exactly when Israel occupied the West Bank in 1967. They did a consensus. Anyone who was outside lost his right in his national ID number, and thus lost his right to be there permanently as a resident. And a very important point for me, you know, and the message, how I look at it. In the year 23, a lot happened in the West Bank. We lost almost 200 young people were killed. But mostly, a very racist rhetoric was highly expressed in Israel in this specific year. In the 18th of September 2023, a meeting took place in the United Nations in its session 78, and it included the United Nations, the European Union, Saudi Arabia, in the support of Jordan and Egypt, their peace effort. That was a very important meeting, tried to save the two-state solution. On the 22nd of September, Mr. Netanyahu has a speech in the United Nations. On that speech, he showed his map of the new Middle East and new Israel. On that map, the West Bank, Gaza, was deleted. That delete of our existence is a very important part of this problem. The moment the Israelis recognize that Palestinians are there and we are there with all what we represent, and we need that existence, our self-determination, our right. Unfortunately, up till this moment, the world community had many resolutions, but nothing was applied. Let me share with you the following. 754 resolutions by the United Nations, 97 resolutions by the Security Council, 96 resolutions by the Council of Human Rights. All these resolutions for the right of the Palestinians, not one was applied on ground. Bringing these two, the Israelis or their government, their leadership, working towards as if Palestinians do not exist. The map is there. Very extremist expressions are taken by some of their ministers. Resolutions are not applied. This is leading to a reaction. Because in the mere end, what we seek, what we want, is what you want. What Mr. Netanyahu wants for his nation. But no peace can ever exist without a real peace for Palestinians. We are desperate for our security as well. And that is very important.
Thank you very much for this time and for this interview.